and share their stories of transformation with us, what unity has meant to them. And we're going to start out with the young man who's here every Sunday in the back of the room in their invisible partition back there. Please help me welcome, if you would, our AV Tech, Stephen Cable.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for that song, because unity has helped me to do amazing things. Unity has changed my life. There's been kind of a journey of faith through my life. It began when I started out with unity as a child. My mother taught Sunday school in our unity of Fairfax, Virginia. And so that's when I began learning more about faith and the different, what is out there, what life is all about. And then that kind of gave way to the Boy Scouts, where I spent more time getting in touch with nature and learning about God in that way. And then and that kind of gave way to theater and to being creative. And then I met somebody who I fell in love with, and we had a great relationship. And I started going to her church, but it was more for her. It was like I went and I did the choir and the bell choir, but it was only to spend more time with her. So so that, it wasn't like, and I began to think though about what I believe, and when I'm saying things like creeds and things, and just making sure that I know what I'm saying and believe what I'm saying. And then I went to college, and faith kind of took not really a back seat, but it wasn't even really on my radar, honestly. And then I did professional theater for a while, did all kinds of jobs, kind of was almost lost, and then things started changing when I came to Savannah. And then, so there was the Course of Miracles, which my mom was related to. And so there was a presentation here on that. And so that got it on her radar, and then she got it on my radar. And so I was like, okay, sure, I'll check out Unity of Savannah. Also, Georgia Kyle was playing around town, and I had seen him. So that attracted me originally to Unity of Savannah, was the music. And so when I came here, there were all kinds of events that I've done while I'm here that has just made life awesome. Our dolphin tours, our meditation and drum circles we've had, potlucks, Martin Luther King Parade, Red Wagon experiences downtown, our revivals, our homecomings. The retreat in Cayuga was life-changing. And that was when my father had cancer at the time. And so he got really sick. And that was just going up into the mountains and learning about all kinds of different ways to expand beliefs in your mind so Unity helped me through that experience, through losing my father, and they were very, very supportive. And so I've also learned a lot in the classes that I've taken here. The first class I took here was the first time I took the prosperity class, and where Edwin Gaines teaches you about tithing, and that it's not a dirty word, and you can, and it actually worked. I mean, it was just amazing that, I did during that class give 10% of what I was getting, and it began to change my life and propel it forward. And so that kind of established my thoughts and everything, but I didn't quite get it into action. I mean, I learned all about it. I learned about what I should do, but I didn't put it into action. Then I learned about the 4 agreements, which was a great class taught by Lydia. And then how to pray without talking to God, which was a great class too. But then, when my father passed, that was a motivation, and it propelled me, and I quit my job, and I went back to graduate school, and now I'm in graduate school, and I'm just, living the life that I want to live. And then I also took the prosperity class a second time with Marguerite even though it was the exact same course, it was very helpful because it took what I learned the first time and then got it into real life. And then what I really want to just kind of sum up with really quick is the changes in my life that Unity of Savannah has brought, which are, I'm a nicer person. I'm a lot easier to get along with. It seems like I've had a rebirth, like a new life, and a restored faith, and I've worked on different leadership skills so that I can act, as a mentor to people to get the Christ spirit and all, and to get people to help encourage people on their path. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about the 12 principles and how or the 12 powers, thank you, that also changed my life. And they also involve the principles, the 5 principles. And so the first one, of course, is faith. And that came across with, I now have faith in others. And letting go and letting others help, accepting help. And it helped me to get where I and God want me to go. And then there's strength. And that has given me self-confidence and the knowledge that it is okay. It is okay to be, and then wisdom. I've had clarity, and I'm able to think of things faster. I'm able to come up with ideas and then put them into action. Love has become stronger, more intense, more like a real vivid feeling. Power, there's, of course, the 4th principle, there is affirmative prayer and meditation. There is power in it. And I've learned how to pray more and to put faith in God, because when I pray for something, 9 times out of 10, it's going to happen. So it's just been a great experience. And then meditation, of course, I've learned that it's good to be in silence, and it's good to learn different ways to relax and to just communicate with God. The imagination, of course, SCAD just is amazing, and I've been able to put my imagination that I visualize into physicality. And you know, it goes back to this third principle, where we create our life through ways of thinking, and which is thoughts plus feeling equal outcome. And it gave me, unity has given me the ability to actually control my thoughts and my feelings, which has created a better outcome. I have better understanding. I have better tolerance and empathy and accept people for who they are. I have the will to continue towards something, to, you know, like they say in prosperity, keep your eye on the princess, you know, just you know, get somewhere, do something, you know. And then, of course, trusting in divine order, that there is something that I was meant to do. And then I'm known as, some people call me Mr. Zeal, and so I like to put as much enthusiasm as possible into what I do. And then elimination. So I've began to learn the act of forgiveness, to forgive myself for whatever I've done, and then forgive others. And then life. So I'm in control of my destiny. I can make my own future. And it goes back to we must live the truth that we know, the fifth principle. And so I try to help others, and I try to make improvements in my life. Today is, most people don't even know that I was a smoker. Yeah. So this is now 3 months without a cigarette. So, and, you know, other people are trying to put in unity too, and that's helped as well. So I love being part of this congregation, and I felt like part of a group, and continue to feel that way. And one thing that I'm working on for the future is I've been going to Tybee and collecting shells and polishing them up and making them look pretty, and I'm going to utilize those in different artworks and try to get those into the bookstore. And so that's one thing I've been working on, and I'm going to get my MFA coming up, and I'm going to do it, live the dream. And now I'd like to introduce Michelle.
Great.
I'm feeling very in tune with Steve. I think Steve and I have kind of been at Unity, I believe, kind of the same amount of time, or that's how I feel. But thank you, Dale, for asking me to speak today. Hi, everybody. So the first time I ever came to Unity was in April 2010, and I came at the invitation of my great good friend, Alethea Fraser Rayner. And I had been looking around for a church for a couple of years. I had actually left organized religion more than 25 years earlier. I went to a very fundamentalist university and experienced just some real hypocrisy there that turned me away. And then for about 20 years, I worked in what we call the humanitarian industry. So I was an aid worker. And I worked a lot in Africa, saw a lot of sadness, saw a lot of disease and death. And that did not help bring me back to part of my life. But finally, here in Savannah, I started looking around at churches, and I even went to a church at a bar on Tybee Island. But no matter where I went, all I was ever hearing about was, fire and brimstone and some vengeful old man on a cloud, and that just wasn't it for me. So I wasn't really sure what I did believe in, but I knew I did not believe in that. The only kind of philosophy of life that I had ever kind of had a vague notion about was more like just energy planes. If you've ever read Jonathan Livingston Seagull, it was kind of like that. It was just all vague and unformed. So here I am that day in April of 2010 with Alethea, and we were sitting right about there, and the minister starts talking in this one service. She starts talking about energy vibrations. Then she starts speaking of planes of consciousness. Then she starts speaking about the Bible as a parable. And then, for the first time in my entire life, I heard Jesus being spoken of as a way shower instead of this suffering victim. And I mean, it hit me like just a bolt of lightning. It literally just changed my life that day. So I started taking a lot of classes. I was very lucky that within like my second week that I had ever been at Unity, they were offering a class on the Heart of Metaphysics book that is still my favorite book. And that, is kind of a primer on the tenets of Unity. And so I started taking a lot of classes, and I started trying to put these Unity teachings into my day-to-day life as Unity describes itself, as practical Christianity. And a lot of things in my life really started to change. And just the community here, I'd never been around people who just hug each other all the time. And that was actually kind of strange to me. I really kind of hug. But now, I hug so much these days that sometimes I embarrass myself in business situations. About 2 weeks ago, I had a meeting with one of the ad execs at one of our major publications in Savannah, and at the end I went to hug him, and he just shake hands. So, it's changed me quite a lot. Mostly, I would say that I truly understand and I believe this concept of truth with a capital T, that there is spirit, there is this goodness that is a force that benefits my life and benefits all of humanity. And that is so deep and it's so awe-inspiring to me. And that is because of Unity. So, I think about before Unity, all of my life, without even realizing it, felt this real pressure that everything was up to me to make sure that my life was a successful life. And I had never even heard the concept of let go and let God. That was completely foreign to me. So I just love that. I love, just deepening my relationship with God, learning more about the tenets of Unity. I realized, 10 years ago, nobody could have ever told me that I would get excited to go to church on a Wednesday after work. Or to wake up early on a Sunday and come to church. But now I feel like that's really a joy and it's a blessing. And I think like many of you, if I'm away from Unity too long for some reason or another, I really miss all of you guys, and I really just start craving Unity. I crave it like it's a sweet treat. And then I also just wanted to mention that volunteering at Unity has really created a deeper connection for I have volunteered in the bookstore for 6 years, and I volunteer for just little other things every now and then, but the bookstore is kind of my main thing, and it just makes me feel good. So I was just going to mention to all of you that if anybody has not so far engaged in any of the sacred serving offerings that we have at Unity, I encourage you to do so because you'll love it. It'll make you feel great. Thank you. Yay!
And finally, we have Marty Fall.
Thank you so much. I'm very honored to speak today, and I'm honored to be a part of the community. So many things to say, but first thing I'll say is when I had, like Michelle, I had church around for about a year, and I decided I was going to go wherever I was invited. And somehow, through some reading, I found out about Unity, and I had been driving by Unity for many years, my whole life, never knew what Unity was. And so I decided to come over. I came to Unity. I was greeted with love. I was greeted at the door. I was welcome. Everyone was loving and caring, and I had never experienced that in church. And from there, I learned about God and that God is love. I knew about God's love, but I had not been a member of a church since I was a child until I came in to Unity. And so I learned, I still thought when I walked in the door that God was on the cloud and there was hell and I was destined to go to hell because I didn't go to church on Sunday and go to confession. And then it started with Jim Bishire's class. He was teaching a class on Emily Cade's teachings. And I learned that God was love. And that was just a new concept to me. I had never really thought about that and understood that. And from there, my whole life, it's been about 6 years now, my whole life and my understanding, my awareness has changed through being a part of Unity. There are a few things that for me have been personal. And one decision, the big decision that I made through Unity is that I was going to put God first in my life. And I have put God first in my life for many years now. It doesn't make me perfect. On the human plane, I have my challenges like everyone else. But I have a great comfort in my life through my relationship with God and the Holy Spirit and Jesus Christ. And I made that decision through coming to Unity. And along those lines, I'm a great advocate to meditate and pray every day. Not just on Sunday at Unity, but every day. I get up, whatever time I need to be somewhere, I get up an hour early, and I sit and I read some type of spiritual reading, and then I meditate for 15 or 20 minutes. And I do that every day, and I've done that for years now. And it's just been such an incredible presence in my life and my understanding and my growth and my awareness. And it doesn't mean that I'm perfect at that, but 99% of the time, I'm up and out. Even if I have to get up at 4:30 or 5 in the morning, I'm up. And I have that hour of quiet time of being with God, focusing on the Spirit, and it just has transformed my life. So I encourage, meditate, and pray. I pray every day. I pray to Jesus. I am a Jesus freak. I am proud of it, and I love Jesus. I love the guidance I receive through Jesus, through the Holy Spirit. All that has come through being a part of Unity. Forgiveness. I have learned about forgiveness in Unity. My baggage was so big when I walked through that door. It's amazing I could get through that. And so to forgive is to be forgiven. And I learned about forgiveness. And I've been able to let go of so much in my life and forgive. And it's doesn't mean that I don't have challenges, but usually I'm able to forgive right away. And that's an amazing thing. It's an amazing thing to have as part of your life. And that understanding came through unity, teachings of unity, practicing forgiveness that we all talked about, that Michelle and Steve have both talked about. Tithing, I started about the same time with Jim's class, somewhere in there right after that. Arlene was teaching the keys to the kingdom. What a great class. And I learned that's the first time I learned about tithing. I had never tithed before in my life. And at that time in my life, I was 51, I guess, or 57 now, or somewhere in there. I had worked my whole life, and I had lost everything that I had ever worked for, to the point where I was living with family, and had I not had family, I would have been homeless. I had lost everything. When I first came to Unity, I walked to Unity. I didn't have a car. I didn't have a bicycle. I didn't have anything, but I did have a place to live, a loving family. So I started Keys to the Kingdom. I had no money, but I learned through Keys to the Kingdom, look around and use what you have. And so I figured out that I did have a few assets, and I was able to get a little bit of money. I mean, a very little bit. And when I first started tithing, I brought in pennies. I brought in change. They had to count my change in the room. You know, and it was like, oh, here's Marty's tithe. Thank goodness he's coming to you. But with that, I have continued to tithe now. It's been over 6 years I've been tithing. I have so much prosperity in my life, so much to be thankful for. It's really amazing how, you know, it's not that I always have way more or way less, but somehow we always have enough. We have an incredible
are a blessing. We love you.